Welcome to Between the Reads, a podcast about Black books. I'm your host, Audra Russell. Welcome to Season 3. There are so many great new things happening this year with the podcast, and I can't do it without your support. So please consider heading over to patreon.com/betweenthereads to join. Are you ready, Booze and Bros? Then sit back, relax, and let's get to it. Author Janee Thompson writes realistic young adult and new adult novels that capture the unique experiences of young Black men and women, taking it day by day through their own personal struggles. While many popular novels for Black teens and new adults focus on racial tension and navigating racial oppression through a youthful perspective, Janee intentionally creates masterpieces that desensationalize racial trauma and focus solely on characters' individuality amid their Blackness. This is what makes Janee a unique writer within these genres. Experiences of anti-Black oppression rears its ugly head every day. We shouldn't be subjected to read about it for entertainment. We are more than our oppression. Janee grew up in southeastern Wisconsin, and she is a K-8 educator. She has a bachelor's degree in elementary education with a minor in English and a certificate in creative writing. She also has a master's degree in K-12 educational leadership and policy analysis. She has won several career and community awards, such as the Early Career Educator Award, City County Humanitarian Award, International Literacy Association 30 Under 30 recipient, and is a People Program Scholar. In her personal life, she has a handsome husband, and she loves shopping, singing, playing basketball, and, of course, writing. She is a staunch advocate for children's success, racial equality, and any and everything Black. Janee, welcome to hell.
I cannot. Okay,
I'm telling y'all,
I'm ready.
this chick she's on Central Time. So it is 1:43 where she is.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't supposed to start talking till 3 my time, 2 her time. When we set this up, she said she was going to come in here early. She's been here in the chat room since what time?
1:17.
Mm-hmm.
Mentally preparing.
For the bullshit that she knows she caused with this book. That's why she came in here early. Okay? And she thought that by putting my name and her little remarks in the front of the book, that, thank you, Audra, for standing for me and all that. Yeah, That's all because this chick knew I was going to put her through the ringer because we boxed in the first show about the first book in the series. And we're going to box in this show. No Ordinary Vengeance, the second book in this hot-ass mess trilogy that will have you throwing books, cursing at people. Mm-hmm.
So, doing what I'm supposed to do.
Right, yeah, okay, the hell you are. Okay, mm-hmm. So since you're doing what the hell you're supposed to do, go ahead and tell our readers what No Ordinary Vengeance is all about.
Okay.
Other than some bullshit.
Not that.
Eat my damn gummy bears while I'm sitting here talking to you.
Yes, you're going to have to because, yes. So, let me just start with the first book. So, the first book is drama, as Audra already knows. Mm-hmm. It's about 2 teenagers who actually don't get along at first. Main character is Jade Williams. She's protagonist, 17-year-old who thinks she's just hot shit, but was also being raised by a mom who is incompetent and was trying to raise her to be that way. She's of the mind, like, if you have the money, the man, the mind, you good. Like, you don't even need to worry about none of that. And so, like, she's very controlling, the mom is. And so she adopted her worldviews, Jade did, from how she was being raised by her mom, until she met somebody who she became curious about, and she was like, oh, like, let me see what this is about. It ended up, getting in deep in with this individual, and this individual's name is Jarrell Hendricks, and she didn't realize, how much she was going to lose as she, you know, started to get to know him and started to, you know, ride for him. And Jarrell Hendricks, who is the other main character in this series, has gone through
who she does completely and totally wrong.
No, I don't.
Really? That's what... Okay.
We gonna talk about him. We gonna talk about him.
We sure are, because I got questions.
We gonna talk about him. But he's my favorite character, even
really?
though
Can't tell. Can't tell. Can't tell.
My favorite character.
Can't tell.
Yes. And so, like, he, you know, Jade, he didn't like her at all. Like, the way she treated him and everybody else. And, you know, he was going through his own thing. And, you know, their two worlds merged together. And they lost a whole lot in the process of doing that. So, book 2, to answer your question, is a continuation of the turmoil.
Of the train wreck.
Yes, you could call it that too.
In a good way, in a very good way.
Yes. Like, I left it off on a cliffhanger, the first book, and left people waiting for about a year and a half. And it's the continuation of that drama. And a lot goes down in this second book, okay? So we really dig into Jarrell's life and how, in his past and his mom, and how he, you know, got to the point where he is at today with Jade by his side, or maybe not, and, you know, digging into who he is.
I need you to understand how hard it was to write questions for this. Because everything I wanted to ask, I was like, nope, can't ask that because that'll give something away. Nope, can't ask that because that's going to give something away. Nope, can't ask that because that's going to give something away.
Yep.
Because when y'all read this book, there are twists, turns, loop-de-loops. You know, there are roller coasters where, like, they shoot through tunnels and it's completely dark. And then you come out the other side and you don't know where the hell you are and what happened. That's parts of this book, too.
Yep.
And see, look how she's sitting there. She's just like, yep.
Sounds about right. Things that you didn't think was going to have to happen.
I'm trying to control myself because I don't want people, if this is their first episode that they're listening to, I don't want them to be like, man, Audra's rough. No, Audra is not rough, okay?
Y'all gotta watch the first episode with me and her, because then you will understand why she's being like this. You have to go
well, I'm glad at least you admitting that this shit ain't my fault, okay? That this is all you.
I'll own it.
All you. Like, I wish that I had done video for the first podcast, because
she wanted to fight me, y'all. She was like, what are you doing? Why? And it's worse. The second book is probably worse, you know.
And I
don't know. I'll let you decide.
Janee is like, I was like, Janee. She's like, I know, isn't it great? I'm like, no, it's not great. I mean, it's great because, yeah, it keeps you turning the pages, but damn, where does it stop?
It doesn't.
It really doesn't. It really doesn't.
Nope.
Okay. So let's talk about Jade and how she was the shit of the school, the shit of D Block. And then in this second book, her popularity just went down the toilet. Let's talk about why you chose to have her have a fall from grace. Not completely, because in her personal life, she's a dancer, and on that level, she's doing great. But in her personal life, as far as her social life, gone. Shot to hell. Why was it important for you to show this fall from grace for her?
For me, it was like, you know, a lesson learned in thinking about what truly matters in life, right? Like, is it my shitty friends? Like, you know, because her friends were horrible people. Like, they were bullies. They not only bullied, you know, Jarrell, but they bullied everybody. They bullied staff. They bullied anybody who they didn't think was worthy of coming down the block. And they was like, you know, this is who we are. Like, this is who it, and if you ain't in it, you out. Right. And so, like, that's what she was a part of. She was a part of that life. And, you know, she relished in it. She had fun doing it. That was her thing, right? And so in the first book, you know, she starts to realize and start thinking, like, what actually matters, you know, in my life? She's a senior. She's about to graduate. And, you know, now she's having this kind of, like, internal battle with herself, like, what path am I really going to take? So when this is all said and done, when we are out of this school, what's next? It ain't going to be that, right? It's not going to be, am I really going to be kicking it with these kind of people when I'm gone, you know, from this school? Like, who going to have my back when shit hits the fan? Like, you know, so she's having this kind of like internal battle with her own values and growing up, right? So and everybody else is kind of like still, you know, doing their thing, but even they kind of like had their own changes in very subtle ways. But for her, it's like, all right, I gotta really figure out my life and who I'm gonna be and who I'm supposed to be. So that's a kind of like coming of age kind of story.
Yeah. I'm just glad that you showed, because part of me liked her, but part of me didn't. Like, I liked her dancing side of her, but I didn't like her at all, because, you know, this whole, so why you ain't put her through that shit? I'm just saying, why you put Jarrell through all the madness, and she the one that deserves all that shit? I mean, you gave her shoe throwing mama.
That's rough enough. Her mom is rough. She going through it in a different kind of way. Like, for her, like, Jarrell has his own kind of, like, thing. But, like, for Jade, like, her friends and her popularity was her world.
Look at my
face.
And
so, like, she going through it.
Do you see?
Yes, it's not compared to Jarrell. But she going through it, too.
She ain't going through it like he is.
She going through it.
She has a toxic mama. Yes, we going to talk about that. But
ooh, I can't wait to talk about her.
Jarrell is layers to his trauma. Like, then they keep getting, as you peel back one, there's more, and there's more, and there's, like, you should have had all that shit happen to her.
Why?
Because then at least what she's doing is justified somewhat. But you having all this shit happen to him, and then he getting picked on top of that at school?
Yes. But, you know, he rectified that. He handled that part. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the first book, he's like, I'm done. Like, y'all can catch these hands, basically. So, y'all can...
And that makes it better, Janee? That makes it better?
Yes! But you want to know something? My husband said the same thing. He was like, why you ain't do that to Jade? Like, why? What's
See,
up?
I'm team husband. Because he has some damn sense. What?
Oh, yes. He was like, why you do my homie like that? Like, why couldn't it be her? Like, he didn't like her either. So.
Okay. I'm going to move on.
Okay.
Because she's making me mad. I cannot. I cannot.
Gloves. I got my virtual boxing
yeah, you should have. You had them strapped on as soon as you came in here, because you know it's gonna be some nonsense.
So did. I'm ready for the punches.
Now let's talk about her relationship with Jarrell. How it started versus how it evolved, and I want to discuss that in terms of saving someone.
Great question.
So unpack that a little bit.
Yes. So in the very first book, like I said, Jarrell and Jade, well, Jade didn't dislike Jarrell. She was just, you know, being a bully. He hated her. Like, he was like, I don't want nothing to do with her, like, or her crew. Like, I ain't with that, none of that. And so what happened was, like, her first kind of go around with him one-on-one was that she was leaving a dance studio, and she almost hit him, like, you know, with her car, because she was texting and driving. And so she like, oh my God, I'm going to get out and apologize. She didn't realize it was him. And, you know, and the more she started to communicate with him, she like, oh, he's kind of cute. Like, oh, let me see what's up with him. And, you know, she started learning some things about him. And she's trying to wiggle her way into his world. And he is, like, continuously rejecting her. Like, I don't want nothing to do with you. Like, what are you trying to do? Like, is you trying to, like, get into my world so you can go back and tell your friends so they can have something against me? Like just basically leave me the fuck alone. So, you know, over time, though, once he found out that she danced, he's like, oh, I didn't know that about her. And so he started, like, you know, seeing layers of her that nobody else really knew about Jade. And so it was kind of that combination. She started figuring out layers about him that nobody knew about him. He was figuring things about her. And so, like, their worlds kind of, like, merged together until they, you know, eventually got into a relationship. Jade, though, as far as, like, the saving part of it, realized how much he was going through that nobody realized. And so she was trying to protect him, eventually was trying to protect him from her own friends, from her own people, you know, and trying to help him get out of, you know, whatever he was going through. And then, like, in the second book, she realized, like, this might be too much for me to handle, right? Or this might be too much for me to take on as an individual. And so she's grappling with some things on her own about, like, her role in Jarrell's life and what that means for him. So go ahead and say what you want to say. Go ahead. Y'all see how she look at her lips? Y'all see how she cleaning her teeth like she finna get these virtual hands? Y'all see this? Do y'all see this?
For people who are listening to this podcast, I need you to go to the YouTube channel and watch the podcast, okay? Because I need you to catch all the facial expressions of me and her. Because she's sitting over there with that smiley face like she done wrote some roses and peaches type shit. And this book is not that. Not that.
It's not.
Not at all.
So you was mad the entire time you read it, huh?
Entire damn time. I mean, first you re-traumatized me with all the shit that happened at the end of the first book. I had to read through that again, like, as if I didn't remember that shit. And then we had to go through, and it happened twice in the book. Whatever, Janee. I ain't got no energy for you today. I ain't got no energy for you today.
You have to have all the energy.
Listen, because not only did you have her in a relationship, she was like in this saving kind of relationship with him. So it really, in my opinion, isn't really a relationship. It's more of a trauma bond.
That she realized that, like, oh.
And she couldn't see that shit. Everybody else had to keep telling her, look, Jarrell's got some trauma of his own that he's got to work through. And even he realized it.
Yep.
Which is my next point. Without giving too much away.
Okay.
With all this boy is going through, you had her do what she did in their relationship. I need to know why. I understand it's a trauma bond, but you couldn't even let the boy have this. Why? You just kept piling shit on this brother, like one thing after another. And why couldn't you just let them
be happy?
Yes.
Because I think that well, first of all, her dance coach or her mentor, right? Who she is living with.
Now she gonna blame it on her mentor, y'all. She ain't even gonna
she was a part of it. She was part of it. You know, got to, like, talking with her about, like, look, this your future. This what you like. This is going really well in your life. You know, you out here dancing in music videos. You out here dancing in concerts. You need to focus on that, right? And so what her mentor is seeing her kind of go, so Jade is kind of, like, taking on the brunt of Jarrell's feelings, right? And it's, like, in her heart, right? An empath, right? She's, like, taking all of that, and it's kind of weighing her down. And her mentor sees that. And she's like, what's going on with you? Like, you know, you was out the house, you was in the hospital, and now you like out, and you just kind of like feel like you look defeated. So what's going on? You need to like figure out what your priorities right now. And I'm gonna just tell you, your priorities are dancing, because you're supposed to be working for me soon when you graduate. And so Jade is like, fuck. You know what I mean? Like, so she like, I got this gig on the line. I'm about to be making a whole lot of money. Like, yup, like I'm going through all this stuff with Jarrell, and I'm here for him. Like, I love him, but she like, dang, my career and what I'm supposed to be doing, and like all the things that I love. So like, what's more important to me right now in this moment?
Okay, but in this moment, you could have had her do that shit in the last book before shit got bad. I mean, really, there would have been no good time to do this, because you keep piling stuff on the brother, so there's no good time to do what she did. But right at that moment, at his lowest of his low,
she didn't realize that it was like the lowest.
She knew it. That's why she didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
She knew it was his lowest of his low, and she still did it anyway.
She was convinced. She had this internal battle, another one. Like, I'm about to graduate in 6 weeks. My mentor is on my ass about this job and this gig that she, you know, offered.
So fuck Jarrell.
She didn't say that. She was like, I'm still here for you. I'm doing all the things. But like, I have to choose what I've been living my whole life for. And so she's like, okay, well, how do I manage all of this? Like, how do I have all these things on my plate. How do I manage what comes off?
So let me just...
She didn't like kicking you. Act like she kicked him to the curb. Like, never talked to him again. Never saw him again. Never called him. She was like, I'm still here. You know, we can work this out. Like, but right now I gotta focus on like getting this up and running.
Does it look like I'm buying this at all?
Why not?
The face.
Why?
No, ma'am. Not
you gotta
why. You should have. They should have never gotten together. That's just. She should have just been his friend and left it at that, and stopped being a damn bully and made her friend stop bullying him and just left it alone with that.
She fell in love. She fell in love. Now you have to also understand this too.
I don't have to understand nothing.
No,
I don't have to. No. I don't have to understand nothing that you did to this boy.
I'm not talking about him.
I don't have to understand nothing about this book.
Ooh, I'm dead.
You're just gonna mess my cards all up. I got all these questions up in here, and I was like, I don't even know. I was sitting there typing. I was like, I don't even know why I'm writing out these questions, because we just gonna end up arguing, and half these questions ain't gonna get answers. But okay, I'm gonna write them out anyway, just in case.
Mm-hmm.
So what do I have to understand, Janee? What do I have to understand?
Jade. So remember Mike, right? Jade was hurt by all of that. So that's a whole other conversation. She was hurt by all of that, right? Like how he did her. So he, like girls do when they're teenagers, when they vulnerable and they get into new relationships that maybe isn't smart because they were hurt. So that's part of it.
Janee, so what?
That's part of the reason why her feelings for Jarrell evolved the way that it did, because she was like, I can confide to this person and be who I really am with him the way that I can't do with other people. And I just got dead wrong. My, dude who's supposed to be, we supposed to be like the power couple, he really don't want me. And I'm having a hard time accepting that. And so now she like, oh, well, here's this like potential thing that could be really great, especially since I feel like I could be myself. So there's that aspect of it. Mm-hmm. She's like, I ain't buying this shit.
No, not at all. Not at all. No, ma'am. No.
Look, I'm trying to have all the explanations.
No, she's trying to rationalize the hell out of this, y'all.
I'm trying. I am trying hard.
Janee is a sadist with that damn pen. That's what this is all about. She enjoys torturing people. You can't just have one thing happen, because when that one thing happens, and then right when you're like, whew, oh, Jesus, nope, here come again, bam, with the uppercut. And then as soon as you try and get recovered from that, then she gets you up on the ropes, and she hitting you rope-a-dope style. And you're just like, from all the plot twists, like, just rope-a-dope. Just don't let you down to the end till you just die. You just exhausted at the end of this book.
You can't breathe.
Can't breathe.
Nope.
Eye all swoked like you got in a fight with Mike Tyson. Teeth all knocked out.
Eyes all black.
Eyes all, both of them black. Just.
Oh. That's hilarious.
And she enjoys it. When I have had talks with her about this, I'm like, Janee, what the hell are you doing, ma'am? No, ma'am. No, ma'am. And she's like, I know. Isn't it fun? Just wait till you see what happens next. I'm like, bitch, next? What? What else talking about next? What the hell else can happen?
Everything.
And this how she laughed, too. Y'all see how she laughing right now? That's how she laughed. Yep. That's how she laughed.
Mm-hmm. Except I didn't do that when I was reading it back. I was really sad.
Yeah, right. I don't believe that bullshit for 1 minute. You was probably like, ooh, damn, I'm a good writer. Look at this. Look what I did. Look what I did, y'all. Look what I did. I wrote this. I don't believe that for 1 minute. You wasn't sad about shit. Don't even come up in here with that lie. Don't even come up in here with that lie. No, ma'am.
I was sad.
Janee and I share a meme in our texts. And
wait, which one?
You know
I think I know which one. I'm sorry. I know.
Boxing meme.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
And I might have to edit the video and slide to this boxing meme and put it up in the video.
Please.
So that y'all can see
Please.
what I'm talking about. It might be in a little window up over here.
And
she's just like me throwing punches and missing every time. That's our meme.
Yes.
Because I cannot with this, in a good way, y'all. If you want a book that's just gonna like turn your world upside down, have you throwing it across the room, have you yelling at folks, cussing folks out,
in a bad mood for the rest of the week.
Listen. If you are in a reading slump, this book will bring your ass right on out of it. For sure. Yes, yes, a lot. And she's sitting over there like she didn't write all of this. She act like they just had their own control over things when she's sitting there with that damn...
They did.
You and the guests I had on 2 guests ago, Portia, y'all with the I didn't do it. They live in my head, and all I do is write it. No.
Yes, Portia, that is nothing but the truth. It's all up here, and then it just comes out on the screen.
I highly doubt that Jarrell said, let me have an abusive mama and an abusive stepdaddy and all the other shit that you did to him.
You know what?
I don't think he did that, Janee.
His mom wasn't trying to do that.
But you up in here saying that these characters got no. Jarrell did not say, yes, give me the most traumatic life possible, please. He didn't do that. She's sitting over there laughing.
He had some good memories.
When he was like 12 and ain't had...
And then he had good memories with Jade. So he has good memories.
Did he really, though?
I think so.
Because they all came crashing down.
True. But...
On top of all the other lessons that she puts in here, gentrification is the whole reason why Jarrell is in this shit in the first place.
Without even saying the word. Yep.
That's the whole reason their world fell apart is gentrification.
Yep. Without even saying it. These are the facts. These are the real facts. Sad.
You know what? This book reminds me of that song, That's the Breaks. That shit should have been in your playlist. That's the breaks. That's the breaks. Your mama's toxic as hell and your daddy beat your ass. That's the breaks. That's the breaks. Your girlfriend breaks up with you. That's the breaks. That's the breaks.
Was not trying to do all that. His mom was trying. She was trying.
Was she?
Yes and no. Yes and no.
Because at the end, what you revealed about his mama, which again is because of the gentrification, and she didn't have nowhere to go. Mm-hmm. So she gets involved with an unsavory man who ends up causing all this trauma. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So
she didn't want to be in that situation either, but she made some grave mistakes. Okay.
Yes, that she don't never want to own up to.
Nope. It's too hard for her. It's too hard for her.
So you ain't gonna have her own up to her shit, but you have, you know what? Jarrell getting the short end of the stick in this book, y'all, just like he did in the first. Yeah, okay, we gonna move on because I'm about to come through this camera.
I'm ready for the next question.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So he's hesitant to go to therapy because after all this stuff that happens, Jade says, you need to go to therapy. And his mom says, you need to go to therapy. In fact, his mother says, Jade, I need you to convince him to go to therapy. And so he finally does, even though he's hesitant and didn't want to. And he really didn't trust people enough to be in a space of therapy. Like, he went because he told them he would go. But initially, he was just like, the wall was up. Mm-hmm. He's just ready for, more hurt. Or for somebody to tell him what he needs to do with his life. But then, he has some powerful moments in therapy.
Mm-hmm. My favorite parts of the book.
I'm not even going to respond to that today. I told y'all she's a sadist. Because while they are good moments in therapy, it's some harsh shit. So, yeah. So let's talk about why it was important to include him going to therapy and show the resistance and then show the results that come out of therapy and how it really kind of helped him.
Yes. So Jarrell is 18, about to be 19, right? And so very few, especially black teenagers that age, they're the last thing that they think that they need is therapy, right? Unless it's a parent telling them, or they have a role model telling them, or somebody is letting them know that it's okay. Right. And so he's just I'm just tired of fucking everybody. I'm tired of everybody. So that's what I need is for you to motherfuckers to leave me alone. I don't need therapy. I just need you motherfuckers to leave me alone.
Right.
So,
which he was saying to you, first of all. Janee with the, I know he's in that book Janee with the pen. There are other characters in this book. Can we spread some of the trauma around, please?
Jay got some of it,
Yeah, whatever, okay.
But, we'll talk about that later. But, so, with that, he was hesitant to go because he's I don't feel like I really need it until, his mom, and Jade is just look, this. So he's all right, fine. So he finally, makes that next step. And even with his therapist, he was not he didn't trust his therapist either. Right. And so he had moments with her, like, you know, kind of this, where he's like, if you want me to really like be here and like fuck with you like that, then you
Right.
need to do this. Like you just need to shut up and listen. If I'm gonna be here and if I'm gonna tell you these things, then you just need to listen. And so like that's ultimately what broke those walls down. Like you said, he just had that wall built up. It was just, that person, her name is Trisha, just listening to him and then obviously offering him strategies to cope with that. But then there were some moments in the sessions where she kind of like, pressed him a little bit. Like, did you think about it this way? Did you think about it that way? And trying to develop his perspective a little more outside of kind of like what he's thinking in his head, but like opening up, the bigger picture for him to kind of, start to forgive, and to build some empathy. And so like some things that, he didn't necessarily have because he's so concerned with his own issues. And so I just thought that was important because therapy isn't just, going in and talking about your problems and then that's it. It really is coping strategies. It really is thinking about forgiveness and letting go and why that's important to let go of that trauma and stuff like that. So I hope that shines through in at least some of the parts, but yeah.
Okay, Janee.
It don't even matter anything that I say. You're gonna be like,
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you should have known that from the beginning. Come on.
You like, I'm gonna ask this question, whatever she gonna say. Next.
Yes. Let me tell you how close I came to just starting the podcast off with introduce your damn self. I'm not reading your bio. And we're not even going to have questions. We just going to talk about whatever the hell comes up off our heads. Because, ma'am,
I didn't do it.
So, who did it then?
My brain.
But your brain is housed in your body, correct?
Yes, but
So, then what?
It just happened. It just came out that way.
Okay.
Like, next question.
Yeah, so Radia, who is Rachel, who is Jarrell's mom, and Janet, who is Jade's mom, they are both very toxic individuals. And they both have this, if you live with me, I run your life approach to their children. And their choices have really had devastating impacts on their kids. Even with young Kyla, who is 5 years old. And we're going to talk about that. But that's another question. So let's talk about this whole, you live in my house, you follow my rules, but yet they're making these choices that are impacting their children far more than they're impacting the mothers themselves. Let's talk about why you chose to put this in there.
So, if you live in any Black household, right? If you are a baby boomer, Gen X, millennial, like, how it's going down in the household when it comes to moms and like running a household, right? Like, I'm the adult. I make the decisions. And if you don't like it, there is no like negotiation. There ain't none of that. Like, it just is what it is. Now, not to say that like, because I'm not trying to say Black mamas is toxic. I'm not trying to say all that. But like that kind of like worldview of like anybody knows, like if you grew up Black, you knew what time it was. Right? I say like, you living here, I'm paying the rent, you not, and this is what it is, right? And so what Jade and Jarrell are trying to do is like, because they're about to graduate high school. They're seniors. They're not kids anymore. They're moving into adulthood, and so they're like, well, I'm trying to gain like some sort of independence, right? Mm-hmm. And as I'm growing up, I need to let you know how like your choices have impacted me going into adulthood and what I have to deal with now, because you wouldn't let me communicate with you about things, and so both moms are having a real hard time with their kids growing up and telling them like it is. And they don't know what to do with that, because that time that they raised them, it was like, I'm the parent, I make the choices and I make the decisions, and that's that. And so now that they have like some autonomy, like they grown, they got their own mouths, they got their own minds, they got their own values, they don't know what to do with that. And so what I wanted to show is kind of like that struggle of like the cusp of adulthood, right? That teenager to like young adult, and like the struggles that many homes have with that, with parents like letting go and like, letting their kids grow up, while also receiving feedback about how, they raise their kids. And that's a real thing that not many people talk about, right? That, like 18 and 19 kind of transition. And kind of like that struggle, that power struggle. Right. People talk about it at like 15, 16, but not like, all right, I'm going to leave your house, but I also want you to know that like,
you wasn't shit as a parent. That's
just want to let you know.
Because when Jade, I don't like Jade or Janet, but when Jade let her have it and brought Corey along and was like, oh, let me tell you something. Okay, this is why you don't like Jarrell, but this is what you don't know, okay? And this is what you caused. Yeah. And she was like, me? And she was like, yeah, you did all of that. All of that. That was all you. Him being in the hospital, everything he did, you were the straw that broke the camel's back. And she was like,
that's exactly how I pictured her looking too.
She's like,
shell-shocked. Shell-shocked.
Like me?
Me?
And I needed you to close that door permanently, ma'am. That's another thing I'm mad at you about. No, she didn't need to be like, oh, well, if she grows up and she comes back to me, I'll talk to her. No, people like that don't change. You close the door, mama, no mama, and you let them, you just, that's it. Say hi to them at the funeral in the casket and let it be. Because toxic people like that, no ma'am. At least with Radia, she has a good excuse for it, if I can even say it that way. And she knows she's messed up, and she's been presented with the idea of therapy, and she's working on it, but it scares her because she knows that she has to then put a mirror up to see that everything that Jarrell has gone through is because of her choices, but at least she's willing. Janet's ass is just like, she came in with the haircut, and Janet's like, that ain't even you. And just constantly on Jade's case, which is why Jade is the way she is, which is why I sort of don't completely hate her. But Janet's just...
she is horrible.
She does not need to... if you renew that relationship between the two of them in book 3...
you would never be on my show again.
I am coming to Wisconsin. I got family there. I'm coming to Wisconsin. And we're going to do this show in person. Because I need to hit you with a pillow. If you renew that relationship, no ma'am. No ma'am. No ma'am. No. And I could tell from that little smug look on your face, it's going to happen too. See? Okay. I ain't playing with you. You don't have to say anything. I saw your face.
I ain't even saying nothing. We haven't even started talking about the book 3 yet. So like, You don't even know what I got up to.
You are on the stand and you swore an oath when you came on this podcast to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I'm going to ask you one time, ma'am. Do Jade and Janet recover their relationship in book 3? Okay, good.
They do not.
Okay. I'm okay with that then. I'm okay with that. And you better not be lying to, there better not be no loopholes in that answer either.
Nope. There is, she doesn't even make an appearance.
Oh, well, good. Her shoe throwing ass.
She's done for. Like, that relationship is over. Like,
good. Needs to be. Needs to be.
Her mom crazy.
Her mom is beyond crazy.
I low-key wanted Jade to beat her up, but I was like, is that really realistic?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. When Corey was holding her back, I was screaming at the book, no, Corey, let her go.
Let her go.
Let her lunge at her.
I wanted Janet to be beat up so bad.
And yet, see, this is my problem, y'all, with Janee. Check this here out. She has Jarrell go through everything, okay? Everything you could, being kidnapped, all the trauma at the hands of that Nathan, and the boy can't see, and yet she won't beat Janet up. What kind of bullshit is this?
To make the reader mad.
I just...
Because that's how it be in real life. The people who, like, be like, this person don't even deserve all of that. And then it'd be like, the people who, like, deserve all of the things, they just be out here living it up.
Let me give you a little tip for book 3. There needs to be some exposition where Jade says, me and my mama had a falling out and I whooped her ass and I don't feel bad about it.
You just give even if I had like a little paragraph, like just that's gonna be satisfying.
Yes. Yes.
Like, yeah, she got her ass beat. That was that. And
throw all the shoes at her. Can we please?
She deserved it.
But you ain't give it to her.
Because
of what? It ain't too much. You put what? Jarrell got stuffed in a trunk. Not once, not twice, but 3 times, ma'am. 3. And we can't get Janet's ass beat once?
Nope. That would be too satisfying.
You see, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I get upset with these authors on this show.
It would be too satisfying.
Because it's some fraggernackle bull they be putting these characters through. And the ones that need to have stuff happen to them, don't nothing happen to them. But the ones that
satisfying.
We can't have one satisfying moment in all this trauma you giving us.
Not Janet.
Why?
Good.
Why is Janet on the pedestal? Why is she untouchable?
I want people to say, I want her to get her ass beat so bad and just kind of live in the feeling of that and not have it happen. Like that's like what gets the reader, you know? Yeah. It would be way too satisfying to have her get beat up. Way too satisfying. Even though you
see, I'm not looking at you anymore, right? I'm just not even. Y'all, look at the logo on my cards. Isn't that beautiful? We need to refocus. Because I'm so mad at her, I don't even know what to do.
You can't be mad at me. You gotta be mad at Janee. That's the point.
You wanna know why I can be mad at you? This is why I can be mad at you on top of everything else. Jarrell's little sister. Why you have her do what she did? And we're not going to say what she did because we're not going to give it away. But the baby got PTSD. And the person that you brought in to do this shit had to have her do what she did. His connection to Jarrell. And he did.
Look, she's stressed out, y'all. This, I love. This is how I want people to be. I want people to be stressed out like this, okay? That I should put that in my bio. That like I love to have readers stressed out. It's fun.
You see how it's fun. You see how she did that, y'all? How she came in the camera like Cruella DeVille. It's fun.
It's fun.
Why? Why Alex? And why the baby is 5 years old? You couldn't just let her not be traumatized like that.
Nope.
Why?
Cause
I think we need to sit your ass in therapy on the couch and talk about why you like to do this shit to these people. That's what I think. That's what I think.
Here's why.
Okay, Cruella, tell us why.
That part is going to be a significant storyline plot in book 3.
So what you're saying is you fitting to traumatize Kyla some more. In lies. You tell lies.
Nope.
You tell lies.
That whole thing is gonna be key to book 3.
You see how she's giving these bedroom eyes, y'all? Like that, like she trying to like be all sexy and sultry up in here with all this drama she writing with this pen. I call her Big Sister Give No Fucks. That's what I call her.
0.
Cause yeah, see that? This is what I'm talking about. All of that right there.
0.
She don't care about your feelings, y'all, at all in this book. At all.
Nope.
And I will say for people listening, it is not gory. It is not unnecessarily like graphic, but she just hints at what is happening or mentions it. She doesn't go into like the detail. So if you're worried about being like trauma, it's not that kind of book. Mm-mm. It's just she explains. And it's so brief in cases that it's just like, wait, what did she just say? Let me go back and read this again. Because I know that she did not just say this shit right here. Let me stop and go back. And I'm going to re-examine my life. This was me the whole time. Yep, she wrote that. She said that shit. Okay.
That they experience is like.
And you see how she leaning back in the chair right now, y'all. She's so proud of herself. She just.
Oh man, I love it. My stomach hurt laughing at you.
Because the baby, Janee. Why we have to do the baby like that?
So the baby. Okay. So like I said, that's gonna be a key part.
Why? Why can't we leave her out of it?
'Cause she's part of that family.
Couldn't she be protected? Couldn't her mama have learned a lesson so that she's protected from everything?
Nope.
Okay. So you just gonna be real nonchalant with that little baby's future like that? Just nope. Where's your husband? I need him to come on this podcast. Because I need him to talk some sense into you.
He at work. He working from home. Somewhere.
What's his name?
Michael.
Michael!
He'll be like, who called me? He probably hear it too.
Michael, bring your ass over here. I need you to talk some sense into Janee, please, sir. Okay? Don't take her on no more vacations and date nights until I see what happens in book 3. Okay? We not doing that. We not doing that. Don't do no shit else for her until we see what happens in book 3. Okay? All right?
We gonna talk about book 3 at the end. We gonna talk about
and y'all see how she telling me what we gonna talk about on the show, right?
We're gonna talk about. I'm gonna briefly mention.
I mean, you know me, so you know I'm gonna ask. But I'm just saying, she gonna tell me what we gonna talk about. Like I'm one of her characters in her book, and will bend to the will of her pen. Okay. So now, towards the end,
Mm-hmm.
And again, can't give nothing away. But the police are looking into something. And Jarrell's mom is investigated in this something.
Mm-hmm.
And after she talks to them, they leave her and Jarrell alone.
For now.
You know I'm side-eyeing you, right?
For now.
Because I feel like she made a deal with them in that room.
Mm. Say more about that.
I feel like she made a deal with them because she knows a lot of stuff.
Mm.
That's all you gonna say is, you're not gonna give me like no, like a hint? Because she says stuff and then they leave them alone. Janee, come on. She knows something and agreed to do something because of everything that she was involved with. Right?
Yep. That sounds about right.
So did she make a deal with them?
I don't know.
Oh, see. Okay. This I cannot.
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. So you think that Radia?
I think that she made a deal with them, and that's why they are. Because when he said for now, that means that they're letting her go while they set something up, and she's gonna be like undercover or something.
Maybe.
That's all you got for me.
Yeah, I don't know. That may be the case. That may not be the case. She, though.
Michael, where you at? I need you to tell me what she writing in this book.
He
I
don't
know you see it because you be reading it to him. I saw in the
Yeah.
thing you said you read it to him.
Yeah, he has no idea. I
So
haven't.
you haven't read it to him yet either.
Nope. He has no clue.
It must be bad.
Ooh, this is funny.
So let's talk about the third book in the series. I need hints.
Okay.
About her. Are we gonna see what that whole for now means with the police?
Yes.
Are we gonna see Jade and Jarrell get back together, or how far in the future is this third book gonna be?
Great question. So it's 8 years later. 8 years later. So they are 27. Jarrell's 27. Jade is 25, 26.
And so, Kyla's how old?
13. And
don't you put that baby through no shit in this book, Janee.
You don't know what I'm finna do.
Oh, I do know what you finna do based on the last two. I know your track record, ma'am.
See, no, Kyla, I'm not gonna put her through nothing. I'm not. Because
I don't believe you.
I'm not gonna put her through nothing, but
I don't believe you.
But Kyla is a central part of the plot. I will say this. Jarrell is raising her.
After all, I thought where's his mama?
I don't know.
What you mean you don't know? You writing the book. We can't know where she is.
Not at this moment.
Do you know where she is?
Yes.
Is she in jail?
I don't know. So I will say that Jarrell is raising his 8th grade sister. They live together.
After he asked for independence and said he needed to be on his own for a while, you got him. Yep. Does he have a dog? Does he have his CNI dog?
He does have a guide dog.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. He has a guide dog, and it's him and Kyla, and he is raising her. And
See how she doing? She just sitting back there like.
I'll say this one thing too, without giving a whole lot away. Kyla is a hot mess.
You just told me you wasn't gonna have her going through nothing.
I ain't saying she was going through nothing. I said
if she a hot mess, she going through some stuff.
She's a hot mess. You might hate her like you hate Jade. Look at the face. It is the face for me. I love it. I love it.
Do we have a title? Are you going to share a title at least?
I don't have a title yet.
Do I get to have a title on my podcast? Do I get to have that kind of access?
Yeah, I don't have a title yet. I don't have a title. It is.
You have a working title?
Not even. Nope. It hasn't come to me yet.
How about a cover? Do you have the cover, or are you gonna?
It is the okay. I'll talk about where I'm at in the writing process. Everything is outlined. Everything is outlined.
So you haven't started writing yet?
No, I have. I have the first two. So this one, I'm kind of jumping all over. So I have like the middle, some parts of the middle done. I have the first 2 chapters done. So this one is kind of like, it's not coming linear to me like No Ordinary Vengeance did.
That's because they don't want to talk to your ass.
Facts.
You're
like, I'm done with you. Okay.
Especially Jarrell.
Done.
Please tell me you didn't put him through nothing else.
He is in a much better space.
He better be.
He is. He's in a much better space. His sister's a hot ass mess.
Is he gonna run back into Jade?
I will say this. Jade is not in the book as much as you would think she is. And Jade has her own surprising things going on.
If she's not in the book as much, how she have surprising stuff going on?
She comes in the book, but it's later in the book.
So this is Jarrell's story.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. I better get an advanced copy. That's all I know.
Oh, you gonna get it?
In my inbox.
You gonna get it.
And I need to buy a signed copy of this book from your
website.
I'm
gonna send you one.
Because I have the first one signed and sitting on my shelf.
Yes. So I got
to buy this one too.
Yes. Because No Ordinary Vengeance, y'all. This is, I don't know. Okay, I'll ask you this. Which
I didn't give you permission to ask me no questions on my own damn podcast. What are you doing? What you want? What? You get one question. What you want?
Can I ask which one do you think is like not better, but like more of the roller coaster? 1 or 2?
Janee, that's like asking, do you want to get shot or do you want to get stabbed? What are we talking about here? Oh my God. Like, they're both equally as intense. There's more that's revealed in book 2.
This is true.
About all of them than there was in book 1. Like, book 1 was some of Jarrell's trauma, but it was mostly like Jade and her world. And then this book 2 is like reveals all the layers of Jarrell's trauma, which is deep.
Mm-hmm.
But they're both equally as intense. Like I said, you want to get shot or you want to get stabbed? You want to die getting thrown off a cliff? Or do you want to die jumping off of a bridge?
Yeah. Well, that means I did my job.
That'd be such a my job.
Hmm. I did exactly what I was supposed to do.
See that look on her face, y'all? I'm telling y'all, if y'all are listening to this podcast, you need to go to my YouTube channel and watch the smugness on her face, the way she laughs. It's just, she's like Cruella DeVille, I'm telling y'all. She's like, either that or the witch from The Wizard of Oz. She's like, I'm going to get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too.
Well, at least book three isn't as it won't be as intense.
Yeah, right. I don't believe that for one second.
You really don't?
I don't know who the hell you think you talking to, but it ain't me, ma'am. No,
Listen,
ma'am.
three is not as intense.
That's not in your nature. You don't know how to do anything other than craziness. No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
See?
Uh-huh. So we gonna move the hell on.
Okay.
So you're an indie author
Yes.
and you're very transparent about your process on
Mm.
your blog and on your IG page. Tell us
Mhm.
why that's important to you.
Good question. Um, because writing is a journey. It is not, it just doesn't come easily. Some things do, but it is. How do I describe it? It ebbs and flows, right? So there's no like, there's some moments where I'm like in it, I'm writing and like boom, and then there are times where it's like I take stretches because nothing's coming to me. And I think right now I'm just getting out of the nothing's coming to me right now.
Mm,
I'm
mm-hmm.
just getting out of that.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that is because of work and all the things that I'm doing
Right.
outside of writing, which is a ton. But
Mm-hmm.
now that we're on spring break and now I'm just like finally starting to get out of that slump and
Mm-hmm.
so the transparency part is just like, just the real parts of being an author, right? There's nothing to hide. It's just like you
Right.
present you're selling you when you're
Mm-hmm.
selling books. And so that's what gets people to buy, your books is you, and
Mm-hmm.
your personality and what you bring to the writing world. And so that's why um, I tend to go the transparent route of where I'm at and how I do things and, stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. So,
Well, and that was going to be my next question is that you talk about selling yourself to the
mm,
readers before you even sell
yeah,
them the book. Let's unpack that a little bit because I
yes,
think that's important for authors to understand.
yes. Because it's like you don't want to buy a book from somebody who was not personable, who was not friendly, who was not, who's just out here like, buy my book, buy my book, buy my book. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they're like, okay, but like, who are you?
Right.
And so that's why, just even in my bio, like, yeah, I talk about like what I write, but then I like also talk about me, who I am and outside of all this writing stuff and like stuff I do outside of writing. And, people are interested in people's stories, their
Mm-hmm.
personal stories, not what they write.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, for me, it's like, if I'm gonna sell a product, I want to be a person that is likable, relatable, all those things before I even think about trying to sell somebody something. Especially
Mm-hmm.
as an indie author, because like people who are
Mm-hmm.
not indie authors, like they can do that because they have like a publishing house behind them,
Mm-hmm.
right? That is already established and they already have their own name, and so they really don't have to like truly sell themselves the way
Right.
that indie authors do. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Absolutely. That's a good word because you do see a lot of authors that's all that's on their pages. Buy my book, buy my book, buy my book. It's like, well, why do I want to buy your book?
Right.
There's a person side to it.
Hmm.
And when I took this one writing class, that was one of the things that he talked about. The marketing piece is like you're not selling your book, you're selling yourself.
Hmm.
Because when you sell yourself, then people become curious as to what you're writing and then
Right.
they want to buy your work.
Yeah.
That's important. That's
Yeah, or
important.
just connecting with people like as writers, like that's why because there is a strong like Black writer community on Instagram, and so like
Mhm.
when you're making posts or when you're relating to others' work, or you're just like here as
Mhm.
process. That's what, gets people invested in you and invested in your work. And like, then when you make a product and produce that product, like, oh, I was there from the beginning. Like I saw when she was like just in the beginning phases of this,
Right.
and
Right.
that's the story that people want to see. They want to see, how did you get from point A to point B?
Right.
So,
Exactly. So, what is one thing that you've learned about yourself on your self publishing journey that surprised you?
oh my gosh, I think I'm in the middle of like the learning thing. Like it is, for me, it is really juggling everything.
Mm-hmm.
Especially now, because I made, my Instagram page, and I really started my author journey during the pandemic, right? Where everybody was at home. And so, like, I had a lot of time, and, so I think
Mm-hmm.
what's surprising me is the fact that, like, man, marketing and like keeping up with an Instagram page and writing and doing all these things takes a lot of work. A lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think that that is what's tripping me up right now. Like, how do I
Mm-hmm.
find the energy to be consistent? And so, like, because I'm consistent in everything else, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I would call myself a consistent person, but yeah, life is like, man, that's crazy
Mm-hmm.
how like those circumstances or just even one job change can change everything.
Yes.
Everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
Because
that,
Janee is a principal now, too,
ooh,
y'all.
child, child.
See, that's probably some of that karma coming back for all this bullshit you did to these kids in
You
these
know
books.
what?
See?
That
See?
actually
See?
might be the case. Cause child, you're one. I could write a whole book itself. I could write a whole book itself about this
See?
year.
See?
I come home, I'll be like, I don't even want to open up my laptop and write anything. I don't want to think
Mm-hmm.
about Kylo or Drill right now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I just want to like watch TV and just do nothing. Like,
Uh-huh.
woo.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, it would be the job change for me is like, because I used to be like super consistent on Instagram, and I'm like, it's a lot. It's
Yep,
a lot to
life will
do
kick
that.
your ass like that sometimes.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Big time.
Yep. Yep. So what's next for you once this trilogy is done? Do you have any projects waiting in the wings?
I do. So I have a
Uh-oh.
standalone middle grade about a lady basketball player. Um,
Mm.
so that's gonna be a cool one. She lives with her mom currently, and her dad lives in a different state. And he's like, he's a pastor, like he's very religious, and so like her mom is a completely different person than that, and so
Mhm.
like her mom is forcing her to go live with her father for
Okay.
many reasons that I won't want to give too much away. So, and now
Oh
she has
Lord.
to figure out
There's
how
some
to.
more drama coming up, huh?
Oh yeah,
Cuz
more
that's all
drama.
that's
Except
all
those
you know
parents
how to
aren't
do.
as toxic as Radia and Janet.
Okay, but you know what? That's not saying a lot. Okay? That's like comparing Jason to Freddy. Like that's not saying a whole lot at all, Janee. That's just telling me that I'm in for some more bullshit. It just may be a little bit of a lower level of bullshit, but it's still bullshit.
Yep.
Okay.
What would a book be
Mhm.
without bullshit? What would a book be?
I don't know when it comes to you. I I don't know. I don't know.
Yes, it has to be.
Okay. So is there anything else, or is this? Do you have a working title for that one, or is are there more books, or is that the main one?
Those are the main ones. I'm working on this trilogy, and I'm working on that standalone. So the trilogy, or the last one in the trilogy, is a romance.
Okay.
So this is actually new for me because I'm usually like in the YA, world. Like again, I'm writing this middle grade, so this will be my first adult romance. That I
Okay.
could call new adult, but like they're not quite. Well, for Jarrell, it's new adult, because of where he's at in his life. Um,
Mm,
so it could be considered that, but I would say romance, a black romance.
mm.
So
Okay.
See, it's more lighthearted. She like this girl. Just
I
funny.
love you. I love your books with all my heart. But when you be like, it's more lighthearted, like, so it's gonna be a category 3 instead of a category 5. I mean, but it's still a hurricane. So
Yeah, and Kyla is the hurricane itself.
see.
She's the hurricane.
Mm. So where can readers find your books, Janee?
You can find me on www.booksbyjanae.com slash slash paperback. Um, and that's where you can find both of my books.
Okay.
Um, or you can find them on Amazon,
Mm-hmm.
Barnes and Noble, so all platforms. But directly from my website is probably the best way to go because you'll get a signed copy. So make sure
Mm.
that you do that, and you get bookmarks, so you get some treats in there. Um,
Mm.
so yeah, go through my website. You get all the goods.
Okay. So I need a whole lot of treats up in my package when I order the book. That's all I'm saying.
Yes,
I want all the treats.
bookmarks,
I want
business
all the
cards,
treats.
treats, the book
Mm-hmm.
itself, a
Mm-hmm.
little nice note.
Yep. I want it all.
Yes, you will get
And
it.
where can we find you on social media?
Yes. So I'm only active on Instagram and Facebook. So all of my Instagram content goes to Facebook. So it is www.instagram.com/books by Janee.
Okay.
Janee.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for sharing your time and crazy ass talent with us today, ma'am.
Thank you for not beating me up too bad.
Ah,
Oh, them
listen.
side eyes. Them side eyes. I felt them punches.
Mm,
I felt them
mm.
punches.
Y'all know it's all love with all my authors. I love Janee to pieces. Her
Yes.
books are amazing. And these are the kind of books I like. The books that make me want to argue, that's what I live for.
And I
So
lived for
thank you for,
thank
yeah,
you
I
for
know you
having
do.
me.
You living a little too much though. She be enjoying the hell out of traumatizing everybody.
Oh yeah. Got to. Especially you. Especially you.
Why me?
Cause it's so funny. It's just
Oh
hilarious to
God.
me. It is, yes, it's the best. It really is. And y'all, like Audra's amazing. Like, look at her. She doing her thing with her studio. So
Trying
donate,
to.
donate. I know I
Yeah.
drop a little something in there, and I'm
Yes,
hoping
you
I can.
did. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're welcome. So hopefully I can,
Yes.
continue to drop some,
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate
continue to support you because she's trying to do big things, and I think that because we kind of started everything around the same time,
you.
didn't we? Yeah, so I was
Yep.
like an early guest on like when we
Mm-hmm.
started. So,
Yep.
um,
Sure were.
yeah. So I'm super
Yep.
proud of where you're going.
Well, thank you, ma'am.
And
And we've come to the end of our show. I want to thank you so much again, sharing your time, sharing their talents. And brews and bros, you know how I do at the end of every show. I leave you with a quote. And today it's from the late, great Maya Angelou. And she said, success is liking yourself, liking what you do, and liking how you do it. Until next time, y'all, you know what to do. Grab a book and read. And I'm out. Thanks for lending me your ear today. If you enjoyed this content, please head over to betweenthereads.com and leave a rating for the show. While you're there, consider supporting this independent podcast by becoming a patron at patreon.com/betweenthereads. Join us next week for another great episode.